Hi, my name is Brenda Titus. I'm a professional hypnotist in Orange County, California. For information about myself and my program, including in-person sessions, please go to my website, ochypnotherapy.com. And thank you for joining me for today's Thoughts from the Hypnosis Office, where I share information about hypnosis and common themes that I help people with here in my office. And today's episode, as we finish up our series on fear, is the Hypno-Inner Demon Healer. And this episode is inspired by the movie K-Pop Demon Hunters, which I'll explain in a minute. So one of the things, I've been talking throughout the month about various roots of fears or themes that I work with where it comes to fear. And the reality is the most important fear that we really need to address here in the office is what we can kind of call the fears associated with our inner demons. Those are the feelings of shame, of guilt. Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Am something wrong with me? Am I lovable? Those inner demons actually really are the most important thing ultimately that we need to address as we are doing our work together. So like I said, my video this week was inspired by the movie K-Pop Demon Hunters, because as I watched the movie, that was what I was seeing as, I was watching, the things that people hide from other people. And those became in the movie these demons. And I said, well, that's what I do here in the office. So I thought that would be a fun thing to talk about. Now, of course, I am not a demon hunter. I am a inner demon healer, because I do believe that with hypnosis, we are able to bring those feelings, those fears up to the surface in a gentle way through a process that we do over several weeks, where the clients really feel that they can, really truly be themselves. And so that then I can really help them heal in a really incredibly powerful way. So I'm not going to really get into what the story is of K-Pop Demon Hunters. I would like to believe, it's apparently incredibly popular, that most people have seen it. If you haven't seen it, it's available on Netflix, and just give yourself the gift of sitting down and watching it. And you'll notice some of the things that I talk about here today. So like I said, through this idea of these pop stars, hunting demons and killing demons, we realize that, they each are haunted by their own inner demon, so to speak, or that each character ultimately reveals kind of a lot of their primary motivations in life, why they do the things that they do. Some of the themes that I noticed of like the things that characters in the movie hide, but then also what I see in the office. We had a character who thought she was a mistake. There was a character that knew that he had made a incredibly terrible mistake. And we had people who were the black sheep of their family. I work with a lot of people who that is the first thing that they say. For some part of their lives, they say, I'm the black sheep of my family. And that gives me a really great place to start, with these inner demons. There are several characters in the movie who you can tell that their primary motivation is that they want to fit in, they want to be loved, and so maybe they people please. And so those were just kind of, like I said, a few of those themes that I noticed within the movie K-Pop Demon Hunters, about some of those inner demons and how I see those similar inner demons here in the office. Now, one thing that is interesting is there is a love story or the hint of a love story within the movie K-Pop Demon Hunters. And it really is this idea of somebody that we know is considered a demon, a bad guy in the movie, and somebody who we think of as a good guy in the movie, but she's got kind of a something that she's hiding, and their inner demons, so to speak, are attracted to each other. And that is something incredibly important that we need to talk about. And I wanted to share, as I'm talking about, being a inner demon healer, is that sometimes our deepest woundings become very attracted, like magnets, like this, that they get attracted, magnetized to somebody else's deep wounding. And sometimes it means that, then we've got, two mean girls that then, find each other and then they become mean girls together. That's a pretty good way to explain that. Sometimes we might say that, somebody who's very narcissistic might draw in somebody who is very needy, and then their relationship becomes very toxic. So that's kind of one way to think about that. Or sometimes somebody who's very wounded attracts people who are really want to help other people, and then that can actually kind of create a toxic, unhealthy relationship dynamic as well. So our inner demons can become attracted to each other, and then we keep replaying those inner demon themes, and that can be very difficult. So I work with people a lot with their relationship issues and realizing, what is going on with this difficult, painful relationship. Sometimes, we have to face the real truth when I say, okay, did you marry mom or did you marry dad? Or did you marry your grandfather? Or did you, and when they kind of realize, they go, oh yeah, my abusive ex-husband definitely reminds me of my dad or my mom. And so then we have to kind of, break down, okay, then, why they became attracted to that personality type, so that they can heal and no longer be in that painful dynamic. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, and we do see this in the movie, as the harder the main character tries to suppress and to hide her inner demon, or the proof of being a demon, so to speak, then the harder it gets to be for her. And she begins to act out. She begins to get angry, and in that anger you can literally see the energy ripple out throughout the world in the movie. And I see that all the time, even actually through the work that we are doing together with my clients. Now sometimes they come to me because they realize they've already been acting out, and then we got to do the process to understand, okay, what's the history, what's unfair, why are we acting out like this. But sometimes literally through the process of doing our work, where we're really digging in, and I usually see people for about 5 sessions, and so they're feeling better, they're doing better, they're following through with the changes that we're here to make, and they come to me about session 4 and they just say, it's me. It's me. I'm holding myself back. All these thoughts, they're inside of me. And I know exactly what to do, because that is what we have been preparing ourselves for all along, is going in, and instead of slaying that demon, we are going to heal that demon. And because truly the issue is that when we can look at our own deepest, darkest, hardest thing that we face, we get to be free. And it's such a beautiful thing. I just love seeing people when we do that particular process, and they just, and the things that they understand about themselves, and then really being able to move forward and be free from that. And it is a really beautiful thing, because we see that in the movie K-pop Demon Hunters as well, is that as the two people become healed, it radiates out and it shows other people that they can also be healed. And so in healing our own inner demons, we can show other people that they can also do that. And it's partly why, honestly, I mean, you know I realize that I'm trying to decide which example I want to use, and especially because I know that I don't edit my videos. Sometimes I will have an emotional resonance with a client, and where they're here and they're so frustrated with their mistakes, and what do? I make a mistake, something simple, but then I just say, see, we're all working through this, together. And so it's kind of a funny thing that happens. Thankfully, not all the time, because now I know what to look for, because I've been doing this for a long time. So, but it is really powerful and beautiful when, instead of being attracted to each other's darkness, being attracted to each other's pain in a relationship or in a dynamic, that we can be attracted to our healing and our journey, and to know that, I don't heal anybody. I walk them through so that they can heal themselves, and I get to be an example, and I get to be a partner and a guide. And the same goes, that then as that radiates out, as they go home and they're able to be more of their whole selves. And especially what's neat is that then, especially if they're parents, being able to, if their kids make a mistake, to show, it's okay. We make mistakes, and that's how we learn. That's how we grow. I know that sometimes we're afraid that we're not lovable, or that we were bad, or that we made a mistake, and, or that we feel like we're the black sheep because we're different. But, sometimes we turn those black sheeps into beautiful unicorns, so it's a really neat, process as we move through that. And so then, like I said, then we can be attracted to each other's healing, and really let that radiate out. And ultimately, the world can be such a more beautiful, wonderful place through all of that too. And it's really neat in the movie, like I said, K-pop Demon Hunters, is that we really see that there is some visual around just how beautiful it is, as they literally think of it as, their souls are healing. They're healing on a soul level. And it's just incredibly neat way, like I said, as I was thinking about how I wanted to share this idea of our inner demons, and how important that is to deal with when it comes to fear. And so I hope that you've enjoyed these ideas, and it will help you think about, actually throughout this whole month where I've been talking about different kinds of fears, my real thought was that, it's so important that we face these fears and we address them so that we can really be healed and whole. And there's so many different kind of elements around roots of fear. And like I said, ultimately, the cherry on top, especially when I'm doing my work with my clients, is to really heal those inner demons. And I did find that K-pop Demon Hunters, they did a really good job of really sharing that, and sharing it in a fun way, because in the end, this movie just like took over by storm. I had, to be clear, my 4-year-old niece and my 18-year-old niece both loving the movie, and my husband liking it enough that we will be in K-pop Demon Hunter themed costumes for this Halloween. So that's kind of a fun thing. I might, show you guys at some point my my demon healer at home, relaxing on her couch type of costume. So that'll give you some thoughts about what that might be, the more casual, off-duty hypno demon healer. And so with that, I really hope that you've enjoyed this series on fear throughout the month of October. If you see it sometime in the future, doesn't matter that it was during October. That was just kind of my theme. And I hope that you've enjoyed this series. Please go back and look at any of the other videos that I've done throughout the year on thoughts from the hypnosis office. Like I said, they're really here to help you think about yourself, maybe think about some of what's going on inside of you, and hopefully to resonate and begin that healing process for you. Of course, if you need help, I definitely recommend hypnosis as a really wonderful way to help. Remember, I only do in-person sessions, but there's lots of great hypnotists out there in the world. You just gotta, look maybe at your local Yelp reviews or Google reviews and find somebody. If you feel like you resonate with them, then give it a try, because it really is a wonderful and beautiful way to heal your fears and heal what's holding you back, and especially to help you heal your inner demons. And with that, I wish you a wonderful week.